here, and a big one at Old Trafford. It's Manchester United at home to Tottenham. Let's take a look at the betting as we have it at matchbook.com. Manchester United are 6-4 shot at 2.5, Spurs 2-1 at 3.0, and the draw is available at 3.65. Both teams to score, another low one with yes at 1.62, no 2.48. The handicap, Spurs are getting a quarter of a goal head start at 1.84, and the total we have is 2 3/4, and that's slightly shaded towards the over. So we'll go to you on this one, Mark, and take it away. Massive game for United. They were okay at times against Newcastle. A couple of penalties and free kick. Was it taken? Was it not? It seemed, watching it in the background, that a draw was probably a fair result. How are you with Manchester United going into this game?
Yeah, I'm not too sure on United. They're one of the teams that I'm still struggling to sort of work out properly, and I wonder whether the way in which Tottenham approach this game might actually negate United's key strengths, or the way in which United have played, particularly in their wins against Arsenal and Liverpool, which has been quite largely on the counter-attack and in transitions. I think Christian Eriksen's absence on Sunday against Newcastle was key. He's probably been the first name on the team sheet so far this season, and we saw how imperative he was, because I did think, from what I saw, they lacked a bit of creativity and a bit of balance without him. Ronaldo, obviously starting up front, does disrupt things a little bit as well. Would expect Rashford to come back into the team after his substitute appearance, just gives them a bit more mobility. But yeah, Newcastle gave United 62% of the ball on Sunday, and United failed to generate more than 0.85 expected goals, just 2 shots on target. So, something similar could be on the cards here if Spurs do decide to kind of concede possession here and try and play in counterattacks and transitions. Only at West Ham in so far this season in the Premier League, Spurs had more of the ball than their hosting team. So, I think that's probably more by design, really, than we probably expect it to. But Spurs, I think this is a fascinating match. Obviously, I think I'd be surprised if we saw anything similar to what we saw in the second half of Anfield in terms of a thriller, the minutes kind of you attack, we'll attack kind of approach. I just think Antonio Conte, big Premier League game away from home. He's seen the script already with what Arsenal and Liverpool have done at Old Trafford. I know you could probably look towards Tottenham's 2-2 draw at Chelsea and the 3-1 reverse at Arsenal, which suggests it should be another high-scoring game. And obviously the attacking Arsenal that Spurs have, you'd expect them to win a gunfight. But I think Richarlison is missing here. Kulusevski's still coming back from injury too. So yeah, and Spurs away from home have largely uninspired so far this season. Just 2 wins in 7 across Premier League and Champions League. They scored 0 or 1 goal in 5 of those matches as well, and their XG tally suggests that they haven't deserved kind of like bundles more than what they've been getting, and they have looked like more of a grinding team rather than a side that's likely to sort of put teams to the sword. So I just wonder whether they might cancel each other out a little bit. It's just stylistically here. So I was half tempted by under 3 goals, but just a bit too short to support. I looked at Spurs plus a quarter. The market prices do suggest Tottenham are the strongest suit, but I'm not sure anyone would largely disagree with that. But I guess, you've got a good chance of only getting a half stakes winner there because of the draw, really. And I think because I can't really sort of put my full support behind either team at the prices, I've just ended up back in the draw at 3.6 here. United are actually rated as a mid-table side so far, according to underlying numbers. Tottenham's performance levels away from home, as I say, are pretty uninspiring, and they're sort of ranked around mid-table away from home too. So, yeah, I just think both teams could conceivably cancel each other out here, and we could get, I wouldn't call it a stinker, but more of a grinding game than a sort of a electric end-to-end sort of encounter.
Yeah, 3.65 currently. That's a big price. Miguel, you're on similar lines here. Quickly on Tottenham's game on Saturday, it was amazing, and they seemed so stale in their performance. And Richarlison comes off, they moved to 3 in midfield, and they absolutely obliterated Everton for the last 40 minutes. Sometimes you need that bit of luck to maybe find a formation as a manager, perhaps.
Yeah, that's been a little bit of a trend in Tottenham's season so far as well. Well, like maybe it's happened in some of the more prominent games, including in the first day of the season, where they were either losing or drawing Southampton at half time. Conte made switches at mid-game, and they ended up blowing them away. And it is one of Conte's great skills, to be fair. His tactical insight mid-game, or kind of for what formation suits the situation. I do think there's other factors playing in Tottenham at the moment. If I was talking to someone during the week who might have said this the other day, but there's a bit of a feeling that he's looking to conserve energy, or conserve the physical load, I suppose, as the conditioning teams would put it, before the World Cup, because he wants to keep Tottenham fresher for afterward. That we will see the truth of that, but I think it's quite interesting and certainly logical. Yeah, and as I'd be going with Mark's thought, I think 0-0 is pretty decent for this game, I must say. I've gone maybe slightly safer with under 2.5. And this might sound amazing for a team that lost or was involved in a 6-3 only 2 weeks ago. But I think for the most part now, for the moment, United are they're quite a good bet for low-scoring games because bar that match against City, which came after a long break, Ten Hag seems to have restored a bit of bite about them. But they've got issues in front of goal. And it's been suggested to me as well that it's kind of a bit of a confidence thing at the moment as they get to grips and learn a new system, that they look like a team that don't believe they can score at the moment. And that happens with sides. And it certainly happens with sides who are going through a kind of a complete or a switch to a new approach. And yeah, I think Tottenham will keep it. So the one danger for me is almost if Tottenham get one goal or they send some vulnerability United, they are capable of picking them off. That's, I think, the one potential variable in this game, because I don't think it's going to be one of those games where United just take Tottenham and really kind of take the game to them and take them apart. That's probably just not going to happen. But yeah, so for all of that, I'm going for a low-scoring game. I would almost go for a 0-0 or a 1-0, but I suppose under 2.5 covers that, and maybe a slender win for either side.
Yeah, 16.5 currently on Matchbook, Miguel. So maybe worth a small. Yeah, I knew I'd get that reaction. Yeah. Yeah. So if you do want the safer play, as Miguel said, under 2.5 is probably decent and probably where I'd be leaning 2.18. But we're going to lock in the draw at 3.65. I think that's a good one to cheer on, given it's probably the game of the week. And yeah, definitely worth it. Over 5-2. So